I've got a lot of books here. This is going to be my kind of what am I reading this year? What am I hoping to read this year? What am I probably not going to read this year, but wish I could. Definitely stole this idea from Jake Bishop, but I liked his and said, hey, what better form of flattery than just outright copying? So, ignore the crazy hair, ignore bad lighting if it's bad. I already filmed this like 3 weeks ago and the framing was terrible. Then I put up a new shelf and just got busy doing this again. Take 2, probably honestly take 50. These are the books I'm reading this year, hopefully, maybe not. Start off, we have, well, this is Rhythm of War by Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I've already read Wave Kings. This is book 4. It's the latest one to be out right now, and book 5 does come out in December. I'm hoping to catch up by then. I am going to go to Dragonsteel. There's a group that I'm getting an Airbnb with, and it's going to be very fun. So I, of course, have to be caught up by then. But these are massive. I think book 1 is the shortest, and it was over 1,000 pages. So it's going to take me a bit for each book. Book 1 took me like a month. I'm determined to get through these other ones faster, but this is not going to be a quick go. I'm working on Warbreaker right now, which I was told to read after 1, but before 2. I'm reading that this month, and then in a month or 2, I'll read Words of Radiance. Another month or 2, I'll read book 3, book 4, book 5 in December. Where am I going to put these? Next is Empire of the Damned. Empire of the Damned. This is obviously Empire of the Vampire. My Empire of the Damned I thought was going to be arriving today. I don't know, it's only 5. It could still get here. But hopefully it gets here today. If so, you'll see a shot of that now. If not, tears. Book 1 was really good. Really did not expect to resonate with the characters so much. I kind of liked that Gabriel is he's like a dick. He's not like a dick, he is a dick. Gabriel's a dick. But you still kind of feel bad for him because he's been put through so much stuff. But it's like, if I met someone like this character, I would hate him. But I love reading about it. I don't know, it's a really good book. I don't know how to talk about books yet. We're still learning. Book 2 comes out in 2 weeks. I should hopefully have it here in a few days, like I said. And I'm very excited to continue this series. That one I'll obviously definitely be going on with. There's only one more book and I'll be reading it here pretty soon. So last on my tier of I am definitely going to be reading these this year is I want to read some more Stephen King. So I'm hoping to get to like 15 or so Stephen King books this year. On my 3rd, which is The Stand. Not ever, but like my 3rd for the year. Look at this. Well, this is a few different books, but look at this guy. Like, next to, it looks like Oathbringer is the biggest Stormlight book. And so, it's amazing. I love it. But holy hell, this is taking me forever to get through. I'm about 300 pages in right now. It's really good. It's the best Stephen King that I've read. But this one is gonna take me a couple more weeks, and then you'll see a collab video with another YouTuber. So my thoughts on this to come. A few other of the King books that I wanted to get to this year. I do want to read some of his newer stuff because I've mostly read older King. So The Institute intrigues me. Salem's Lot, the vampire novel. Very excited for that one. Needful Things, Ignore the Damage. I got it for cheap, but this one really intrigues me, and I've been reading through the Castle Rock stories. Most recent was Cujo last month, so that I can catch up to this. I think now I just have the Dark Half, and then I can technically read this. I guess I could before, but I wanted to at least get the main stories, the side stories, and the short story collections and stuff I can get later. Now, Rickety Cricket Christian. Can you stop? Hey, please. Cricket. No one's getting fed right now. You don't get fed for an hour. So, I want to read more Stephen King. There was a box, so he must be in it. Next is going to be the books that I'm going to get to the next book, or maybe the first book in the series or whatever, but I'm not going to finish. Next is the Cricket. Next, I'm going to get to these books, but maybe not the rest of the series. So these are all like book 1s or somewhere in the series that I'm going to get to that point, but I'm probably not going to finish the series this year. Maybe, hopefully, if things work out well, but time being as it is, probably not. So first up is the Riordan verse, all the Percy Jackson, Kane Chronicles, all those novels. I'm definitely going to finish the Percy Jackson books this year. I read through the first one. I read them as a kid a bunch. My wife had never read them, so we were going to read them together. But I'm way too eager to get to the next one, so I'm reading ahead, and I'm going to start book 2 this weekend. I'll definitely get through the Percy Jackson series this year, and probably either the Hero of Olympus or Kane Chronicles. I don't know what I'll read second, but I don't know how much more I'll get to this year because there are so many books in that series and just so many other books I want to read. Otherland, Tad Williams, your author's favorite author. I am reading this one now. I did kind of take a break on it for like a week while I read ACOTAR. I regret reading ACOTAR, but there's a book club discussion on it on Friday, so that'll be fun. But what I've read of this so far, I'm like 80 pages in, and it's incredible writing. Just, he's one of the few authors who like keeps me up at night, where I want to, I was reading it and I just was like, okay, I'm really tired. I want to go to bed, but I can't stop reading this guy's writing. It's about a VR world, kind of Ready Player One with less of the 80s nostalgia. So, and more like deep lore and more serious. So definitely reading this one this year. I'll finish this one soon. I'll probably continue the series this year, but I don't know that I'll finish it all this year because they are all decently big books. They're all like 800 or so pages, and there are 4 of them in the series. Next on this list is a toss-up. So The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne is a series I really want to get to, but I was going to read the Bloodsworn saga first. So I read book 1 of Bloodsworn. It was amazing. Shadow of the Gods. Great book. I was going to read book 2, but I needed a break from book 1, and I saw that book 3, we did not know when we were going to get it. So I just didn't really go back to that. And was thinking, okay, I'll pick up Malice and I'll read this. Whenever we get book 3, then I'll go back to to Bloodsworn Saga. So I get these, got them for Christmas, got the full set, and I was going to start reading it soon, and then book 3 gets announced. And it's coming out in 6 months or so. Cricket, I love you, but stop. So book 3 for Bloodsworn is coming out soon, and now I don't know. I'm probably going to just go with this series, but I might go back and read the other. I guess it does kind of make more sense to read the other, because then that's just 3 books to knock out before I read this, instead of 4 books to knock out before I decide if I want to read another trilogy or that one. So I'll either read this or I'll go through Bloodsworn this year, but I'm getting through at least another John Gwynne book this year. First Law. I read the first book 4 months ago, maybe. Loved it. It's so good. I just did not go on at the time. So I'm going to probably audiobook the first one. Cricket! I apologize. My cat starts asking to be fed about 4 hours before it's time to feed him, and just does not leave me alone until he is fed. And this is the only time I have to film. So, yeah, I read The Blade Itself 4 months ago. Loved it. Amazing book. Really want to read the next one. Kind of just didn't get to it. So I'm gonna get to book 3 this year at least. I need to read book 2 first, but I'm gonna finish the First Trilogy before I can't talk. So I'm gonna finish the First Trilogy this year, and then might go on, but honestly probably not, because I just have so many books to read. But this year, the First Law, First Trilogy will get read. No part of this has felt cohesive, or I don't even want to say professional, because it's not even close. It's acceptable. None of this has felt good, but we're going to throw it together and put it up because I haven't uploaded anything in a month. So, next book is Abons Gate, with this beautiful special edition that has the unobstructed art there. This is book 3 in The Expanse. I was originally planning to finish this series this year, but as I've realized how slow I read and how many books I want to read, I'm probably not going to read all 9 of these this year. This is my next one, is book 3. I'm reading that this month. I was supposed to read it last month, and time got away from me. So I'll be reading this in March, but probably get through the first 2 trilogies and finish on book 6 this year. If I can, I'll try and finish everything, but I don't know. This is my favorite ongoing series, or not ongoing, but favorite series that I'm reading right now. It's just sci-fi is less of a calling to me, and I get series burnout pretty quickly, so I have to read one book and then go read 4 books from other series and then come back to that series. So this one's going to take me a bit to get through. I think the book stack over here might reach my height here, my sitting height, pretty soon, and that would be fun. Next and last on this list of I'm going to read book 1, might read the next, is another fucking chonker. The Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. Everyone knows Brian from his YouTube channel and his amazing authorial career. I have not had the pleasure of getting into his books yet, but I'm going to this year. He was a big reason I started my channel. He had made a post about, just do it. Like, nobody thinks you're going to find success, but just make your channel and find your crowd. So I made it when I saw that and have him to thank for it. But anyway, I'm very excited to get into his book. I've heard such good things. I've heard it's very dark, which I actually really love. I love me some grimdark, and I love me some medieval fantasy, so it sounds like a great mix for me. Especially if it's anything like the man himself, I'll like the story. Next is my books that I'm really hoping to get to this year, but I might not even... It's possible I don't even open book 1, because they are a priority. They're third tier. That's what this is. Kind of a tier ranking. So, first is just a dust jacket, because I lent the book to a friend. But Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. As I said earlier, I loved Empire of the Vampire. And this I've started and then put it down because I was like, I don't know, it's not for me. Now that I've read Empire, I feel like I can come back to this and appreciate it more. But I don't know. I like Jay Kristoff's writing a lot, and so why not jump into another story by him? I've already got it. I've got book 2 signed, and then I'm going to get books 1 and 3 signed when I meet him in a couple weeks. Might as well read them. Next is The Bound and the Broken. Probably shouldn't have held that in front of my face the whole time I was talking there. So next is The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill. This is just the prequel novella. That's, said to be a good place to start. I got it because it was just a few bucks, and the normal book 1 is like $20, so I thought, okay, it's cheap, and it's short. I can give it a test. So this is I'll probably read this novella this year to test it out, but I wouldn't say that I'm reading the series because this is 90-something pages. So this will tell me if I want to read book 1 this year or not, or put it off until next year. So, Bound and the Broken. Next is The Magic of... Next is The Magic of Recluse by L.E. My Sweet Summer Child. Next is The Magic of Recluse by L.E. Modisette Jr. Next is The Magic of Recluse by L.E. Modisette Jr. It's supposed to be just classic fantasy. It's like a 22-book series, so there's a lot of material if I end up liking it. And I just noticed it's even got a blurb on the back from Robert Jordan, so that's high praise. But the real praise that matters is Jonathan Cohn, fellow booktuber and best booktuber out there. He's a big fan of this series, and he's the one who got me into it. I was actually looking for the hardcover for a long time at half price and never found it. And then I gave up and was like, okay, I'll just buy the paperback. That's fine. I'll never find the hardcover. So I bought the paperback, and then literally the next day I found the hardcover at half price at a different one. So now I have both. My wife doesn't love that, but it's nice. Next on this incredibly long, probably too long list is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Probably saying that wrong. I obviously need to read some of his work because I've heard so many good things about him, and I don't... Notice how I have 3 cats, but he's the only one who you see out here bothering this recording process. I gotta read some Tchaikovsky. It's got a apparently POVs from ants and spiders while they fight a war, and I've heard good things. It's piqued my interest enough. I've heard he's got great prose. I don't know a ton about it because I try to go into books blind, especially stuff like this. This last one on the I'm hoping to get to it this year, maybe not, definitely not reading on, is book 1 of the Dark Elf trilogy. That's Homeland, or you might know these as the Drizzt books. I really want to get into some D&D books because I like playing the game, but I don't know any of the lore, and it just sounds like an interesting, world. But I found this really cool bind up of the first 3 books for like $10 at half price, so I had to get it. And now I'm like, well, I've heard such good things. Now I own the first 3. Might as well read it this year, right? So hopefully we will. Don't know that I'll get to it. Hoping at some point. There's a guy in the Discord I'm in who was talking highly of it the other day, and it kind of did bump it up on my priority list. So I'm hoping to actually get to it in the next couple months. So this maybe should be on the tier 2, but I've heard great things about the animal companion, and just, you have the perspective of an elf instead of a human. That sounds really fun. Yeah, they're pretty short, just fun books, it sounds like, and I'm hoping I like them. All right, that was a ton of books. Thank you guys for sticking around so much. Thanks for getting me to almost 150 subs now. I'm at like 143 right now. By the time this goes up, it might be more. It might be down, but I'm a slow editor, so we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the support. It's been such a great experience being here on BookTube. Everyone's been so nice, and it's really encouraged me to read more and take notes about what I'm reading and get deeper into my books, which is really fun. I love talking with all y'all in the comments. Let me know what you're hoping to read this year. If any of these need to be, bumped up or bumped down on my priority list, what you think, or a book that wasn't even here that you say I've got to read right now, just let me know. But that's it for now, guys. As always, I've made the music, so if you like that, head on over to my Spotify, and thanks for tuning in.